according to WWE. What they are more likely to do, and this fucking flipped me out on Monday, but I kept my tongue shut and I just left it alone. But WWE is more likely to sign deals with, like they announced this week, with Ion Television for the new Wednesday night show called Main Event. Now, we get Ion Television here in Chicago. Ion Television, to people in Chicago, is better known as the Catholic Network or the Christian Network. On Saturdays and Sundays, they play nothing but fucking preaching. They have nothing but Christmas, not Christmas, fucking Christian events, everything. Davy and Goliath, all these Christian things go on Ion Television. Yes, they do have other family-friendly shows like MASH on there. They do have family-friendly shows like Cagney and Lacey. Let's see, what are some of the other cutting edge? Matlock, they have Matlock on there. That's pretty cutting edge. Bonanza, they have Bonanza on there. That's pretty fucking recent. Yeah. So apparently Ion Television, the Christian Network, and of course, how could I forget Michael Landon's Highway to Heaven? Oh, they have entire weekends generated to Highway to Heaven.
Oh, wow.
Right. Little House on the Prairie.
So basically they're trying to put a show on a religious network.
Yes.
Which, by the way, the only thing that's more shocking than that, could you reiterate the day the show is going to be on?
Oh, it's going to be on a Wednesday.
That is, folks, that is unprecedented in the wrestling world. There is, for some reason, the day Wednesday
is always death.
Infuriates wrestling fans. Mm-hmm. People that produce wrestling. If you look throughout the history of wrestling being overplayed, always on television, there has been wrestling on every day but Wednesday.
Right.
They fucking hate it. And somebody saying NXT was on Wednesday? Nay. NXT was on Tuesday, if I remember correctly.
That is correct.
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Always wrestling. Mm-hmm. For some reason, they just fucking hate that day.
I think Wrestling Society X was on Wednesdays, wasn't it?
I think it might have been on Thursdays.
Oh, was it on Thursdays? Okay.
I think it might have been Thursday. There's something about that dastardly Wednesday, that fucking hump day, that they just refuse to put wrestling on it. But hey, so what is the show that they're trying to make, by the way?
It's called Main Event. And what Main Event is supposed to be like, it's supposed to be a collaboration of matches of, from what I understand, the lower to mid card. It's not going to really be anything to promote the upper tier card. So I'm imagining the big stars that you might see on fucking main events would probably be like Cody Rhodes, Kofi Kingston, Christian, maybe.
So it's basically superstars.
No, it's main event. But it's not going to have anybody that's in the main event, which makes it even funnier.
well, they actually can't call the show Mid-Carders.
Right. No, they couldn't.
That would be the most honest thing that they could do.
Mid-Carders.
What's the show that you guys are going to run? It's called Mid-Carders. Who's on it? They're the guys that are kind of in the middle.
WWE, the job guys.
WWE, space fillers.
So yeah, they're going to have it on a Christian network, which actually led me to believe, and this only makes sense to me, WWE has done so much work with Nickelodeon and Disney over the last few years, especially over the last few years. I wouldn't doubt if Ion Television does well with having WWE on there, because clearly Main Event being on Ion Television is either a gag or it's a try, because Ion Television is the equivalent of a random UHF station. It is small. It's a network, but it's small. You wouldn't compare it to even fucking UPN or any of those. So if it becomes successful, in any sense of the word successful, I would not be surprised if WWE tries to pitch its shows of wrestling to Nickelodeon or Disney, who, let me remind you, have both had wrestling cartoons and shows on their channels before.
Oh, jeez.
Think about it. I mean, they've had the Mucha Lucha. They've had the, there's a couple other ones that Nickelodeon had. It was a wrestling one where there was like a cup and a thing of cheese wrestling against each other. There's been wrestling before promoted as a cartoon, but could you imagine a family-friendly version of WWE, meaning completely family-friendly version?
It's not already?
Oh, no, you can get more. So you'd probably pretty much kick off all the divas, for the most part.
Haven't they already?
But you know what I mean. There wouldn't be any of those bikini contests like we had on Monday. There would be none of that. No.
Ooh,
there wouldn't be
so
any
risque. Girls in bikinis.
There wouldn't be anything like, let's see, the characters that they have now could fit in there. Dean Ambrose would fit in Nickelodeon perfectly. Dean Ambrose is a Disney countercut. He is exactly what Disney wants in their WWE. John Cena, exactly what Disney wants. Kane, gotta go. Too dark. Undertaker, gotta go. Too dark. Triple H, gotta go. Too dark. Maybe they would keep Triple H on there as an authority figure, but that would be about it. They couldn't have the game.
How are you going to even have
Kofi Kingston? I'm sorry. I'm still going off on names of people that would actually make it on the show.
Make it.
Yeah, Kofi would make it. Santino would make it. R-Truth, no. R-Truth wouldn't make it. No. Even with the little Jimmy, you know what? I would say that maybe, but the fact that he's talking to himself and stuff like that, unless they actually gave him a little kid that becomes little Jimmy and he comes out to the ring with him and stuff like that, you know, like maybe a black Hornswoggle. That's about it. Hornswoggle would definitely be on the show. Oh my. Hornswoggle would be like, he'd be one of the main announcers. Michael Cole would be gone. There'd be no Michael Cole. There would be no Jerry Lawler.
Do you know, and I'm really starting to think that this would be a good idea, and I thought about this a few years ago. Do you remember when WWE owned ECW, the finger quote ECW, and they were like, yeah, we're going to run the arena, and they were going to do shit like that? I thought to myself at that time, I was like, why don't they just do that? Why don't they have another company where they can do this type of shit so they can do the ECW type stuff? They could do that. It wouldn't be a big deal. There could be a WWE type company that they could call something different, and they could do a different type of wrestling product, and then they could have WWE on the networks for kids. They could have it be PG or G, and it could be very, very, very harmless.
They won't do it. Because first off, there's one major flaw in all of that. The fact that you would have to hire double the production, double the writers, double everything, double staff on everything.
Not necessarily, if you take into account that if they wanted to do a smaller show, like a smaller secondary show on the level of ECW, they could fucking hire way less people and need way less production and way less everything. It wouldn't even have to be live. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, they could do something like that.
What happens if it does better, though? What happens if their B show does better than their A show?
Then they'll just ignore it, just like everybody else does in America.
Then what they'll do is they'll shut it down. And WWE is not smart in that sense. They have never been smart in that sense. Whenever something works, they shit on it because it's overlooking or it's making somebody else look bad that falls into the Triple H fucking camp. You know what I mean? Let's be fucking honest here. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, so, no, they're not going to do that. They're not going to piss in their own mouths, especially when it comes to something extreme, which they could easily put Paul Heyman's fucking name on it because Lodi, if somebody else besides Vince McMahon and Triple H have an idea, you know? Jesus.
Hence why Sin Cara still has a job.
Exactly. Oh, he'd definitely be on Nickelodeon. See, that's what I'm saying. All the characters now, for the most part, could easily be on
Brodus.
Right. AJ would be gone though. AJ, they would either get rid of her or they'd have to completely clean her act up, which is what would happen. She couldn't be going around kissing multiple people like that. What's the matter with you, girl?
Gasp. Hey, do you know what was the funniest thing I thought about earlier when TNA was on? When you just said AJ, this just came into my mind. How disheartening must it?
Sorry, nothing.
How disheartening must it be for AJ Styles when he sees things and he knows that it's wrestling fans, and they sit there and they're like, hey, what do you think about AJ? And they're like, oh, she's cute. When he's been a wrestler on television for 10 years. And now when people sit there and they're like, hey, what do you think about AJ?
You know why? Because AJ Styles, the name is stupid.
Oh,
AJ Styles, the name has always been fucking stupid. I'm sorry. AJ is a girl's name? Yeah, that fits. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's also just really, really super fake sounding.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so against super fake sounding wrestling names unless it completely fits a character. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if it's like, oh, what's his name? The Ultimate Warrior. Well, what does this guy look like?
Oh, you mean like Velvet Sky or Bobby Roode?
Exactly. But like, for example, like somebody saying Triple H. Well, his name was Hunter Hearst Helmsley, which is fine. That's an abbreviation. But like, you know, when somebody says like the Funkasaurus, yeah, I'm fine with him being called the Funkasaurus when he does funk dancing and looks like a dinosaur.
Yeah,
that's fine. In fact, I think it's sillier when they call him Brodus Clay. Silly fucks.
I think we're going to take a short break. People in the chat room are actually asking me for a break.
Cassius
let's see how. Yeah, we've already gone about an hour and a half. No shit.
Yeah.
I thought it was longer than that, actually.